The handcuffs clicked before anyone in the lobby understood what had just happened. A quiet gasp moved through the marble-floored entrance of the Grand Regent Hotel. Phones lifted. Suitcases stopped rolling. A pianist near the lounge froze mid-note. And standing in the center of the five-star lobby with security gripping his wrist behind his back was a calm black man in a dark tailored jacket who looked more confused than angry. He didn't resist. He didn't shout. He didn't even ask why. He just looked around slowly, as if memorizing every face watching him. Because he already knew this moment was going to matter. 20 minutes earlier, Nathaniel Brooks stepped out of a ride-share vehicle directly in front of the Grand Regent's glass entrance. No chauffeur, no announcement, no assistant, just him. And the valet glanced at him once, then immediately turned away to open the door for a couple stepping out of a luxury SUV behind him. Nathaniel noticed. He always noticed. Still, he smiled politely and picked up his own overnight bag. Inside, the lobby shimmered with gold lighting and polished stone floors. Guests laughed near the bar. A concierge welcomed arrivals with practiced warmth. Except him. No greeting, no smile, no welcome. Nathaniel walked to the front desk. The supervisor behind it wore a sharp navy blazer and a silver badge that read Claire Whitmore. Her smile looked professional, but cautious. "Yes?" she asked. "I'm checking in," Nathaniel replied calmly. "Name?" "Nathaniel Brooks." Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, paused, then typed slowly. Her expression shifted. I'm not seeing a reservation." Nathaniel stayed relaxed. "There should be one." She checked again, still slower this time. "I'll need identification," she said. He handed it over. Then she studied it longer than necessary. "I'll also need a payment method." Nathaniel placed his card on the counter. Claire looked at it, then at him, then back at the card again. "I'm going to need approval from management before processing this." Nathaniel tilted his head slightly. "For what reason?" "It's procedure." He smiled gently. "No," he said quietly. "It isn't." Just then, a white businessman stepped beside him. "Reservation under Carter," the man said casually. Claire's expression brightened instantly. "Welcome back, Mr. Carter." Room key printed immediately. No ID, no approval, no hesitation. Nathaniel watched carefully. Still calm, still patient, still silent. "I'll wait," he said politely. Claire nodded but didn't move. Instead, she picked up her phone. "I'm calling the floor manager," she said. Nathaniel folded his hands loosely in front of him. "That won't be necessary." Her voice hardened slightly. "It is." Before he could respond, a loud voice cut across the lobby. "My bracelet!" Everyone turned. A woman wearing a cream designer coat rushed toward the desk, panic written across her face. "My diamond bracelet is gone!" she shouted. Guests froze. Staff looked at each other nervously. "That bracelet is worth $80,000, she continued. Security appeared almost instantly. "Ma'am, where did you last see it?" one asked. She scanned the lobby quickly, then pointed, straight at Nathaniel. "And he was standing near me earlier." Silence fell like a curtain. Claire stepped backward slightly. Security turned toward Nathaniel. One guard spoke into his radio immediately. Nathaniel didn't move, didn't argue, didn't react. "Sir," the guard said carefully, "we need you to come with us." Nathaniel looked at him calmly. "For what reason?" "Possible theft investigation." Claire crossed her arms quietly behind the counter. Guests whispered louder now. Phones started recording. Nathaniel nodded once. "I understand." But before he could take a step, another guard spoke firmly. "Sir, place your hands behind your back." The lobby went completely silent. Nathaniel looked around once, then slowly placed his hands behind him. Click. The cuffs locked. A woman near the elevator gasped. Someone whispered, "Sure, that's insane." Someone else kept recording. Nathaniel didn't say a word. Security began escorting him across the lobby. That's when the hotel's general manager appeared. Trevor Langley walked quickly toward them, irritation already on his face. "What's happening here?" he demanded. "Possible guest theft," security replied. Trevor looked Nathaniel up and down once, then nodded. "Take him to the security office." No questions, no investigation, just assumption. Nathaniel finally spoke. "Mr. Langley," he said calmly. Trevor stopped walking. "How do you know my name?" Nathaniel gave a small smile. You'll understand soon. Trevor frowned slightly, but continued walking. Inside the hallway leading toward security, staff members stepped aside quietly as they passed. No one made eye contact. No one intervened. And no one asked questions. Nathaniel walked calmly between them like someone who already understood exactly how this story would unfold. Inside the security office, they searched his bag. Nothing. They checked his pockets. Nothing. Still, they kept him cuffed. Trevor stood near the door watching. Guests don't usually cooperate this easily, he said. Nathaniel sat down slowly. Guests don't usually get accused this quickly either. Trevor ignored the comment. We're waiting for police, he said. Nathaniel nodded once. That makes sense. Trevor crossed his arms. You don't seem worried. Nathaniel looked at him calmly. I'm not. Trevor studied him carefully now. There was something unusual about this man. Something controlled. Something confident. Something unexpected. As you said you knew my name? Trevor said slowly. Yes. How? Nathaniel leaned back slightly in the chair. You'll understand in a few minutes. Trevor didn't like that answer. Not at all. Moments later, a security officer entered quickly. Police are here. Trevor nodded. Good. Nathaniel remained calm. Completely calm. Almost like he had been waiting for this exact moment. And what happened next would change everything inside that building forever. Before the officer opened the door, Nathaniel looked directly at Trevor. You should probably call corporate, he said quietly. Trevor frowned. Why would I do that? Nathaniel smiled slightly. Because they're already watching. If this moment already has you wondering what Trevor's about to discover next, make sure you subscribe right now. Because what happens when the police walk into that room is something no one in that hotel was prepared for. And Trevor Langley was about to realize he had made the worst decision of his entire career. The security office door opened slowly. 2 police officers stepped inside. The taller one introduced himself first. Officer Malik Harper, he said calmly, scanning the room. What's going on here? Trevor Langley spoke immediately. We have a suspected theft involving a guest. Officer Harper looked at Nathaniel, then at the empty evidence table, then back at Trevor. What was stolen? A diamond bracelet, Trevor answered. And where is it now? Trevor hesitated. We're still investigating. Officer Harper raised an eyebrow slightly. You detained him without finding the item? Security shifted uncomfortably. Trevor crossed his arms. The reporting guest identified him. Officer Harper turned back toward Nathaniel. Sir, have you taken anything from another guest? No, Nathaniel answered calmly. Have you been searched? Yes. Anything found? No. Officer Harper nodded slowly. Then he looked at Trevor again. So right now, he said carefully, you have no physical evidence connecting him to anything. Trevor stiffened slightly. We're following procedure. Officer Harper's voice remained calm but firm. Procedure requires reasonable suspicion supported by facts. Nathaniel spoke quietly from the chair. Officer, may I ask something? Yes. Would you mind requesting access to the lobby camera recordings from the last 30 minutes? Trevor stepped forward quickly. That won't be necessary. Officer Harper looked at him. Actually, it will. Trevor's jaw tightened. Nathaniel stayed calm, completely calm, as if everything unfolding was expected. Just then, Trevor's phone rang. He glanced at the screen. His expression changed instantly. He answered quickly. Yes? Silence. His eyes shifted toward Nathaniel. Yes, he's here now. Another pause. Trevor's posture stiffened. What do you mean they're already connected? The room went quiet. Security stopped moving. Officer Harper watched closely. Trevor lowered his voice. No, that's not possible. Another pause. Yes, I understand. He slowly lowered the phone. His confidence was gone. What happened? Officer Harper asked. Trevor swallowed. Corporate security is monitoring this situation live. Nathaniel spoke softly. They usually do. Trevor turned toward him. What exactly does that mean? Nathaniel leaned back slightly in his chair. It means every guest interaction inside this hotel is recorded and analyzed in real time. Claire Whitmore appeared quietly in the doorway. What? Nathaniel looked toward her. The service response system installed 6 months ago, he said calmly. It tracks interaction patterns. Claire blinked. I thought that system only monitored wait times. It monitors more than that, Nathaniel replied. Security exchanged looks. Trevor stared at him. How do you know that? Nathaniel smiled slightly. Because I approved the installation. Claire's face changed immediately. What? Officer Harper looked between them. You approved it? Yes. Trevor shook his head. And that system was authorized by headquarters. Nathaniel nodded. That's correct. Trevor stared at him. And headquarters authorized it because of me. The room fell silent again. Officer Harper crossed his arms slowly. Sir, he said carefully, who exactly are you? Nathaniel didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked toward the security monitor mounted in the corner of the room. It displayed multiple angles of the lobby. One screen showed the woman who reported the bracelet theft speaking loudly with another employee. Another screen showed guests still recording with their phones. Another screen showed someone already posting something online. Nathaniel turned back toward Officer Harper. My name is Nathaniel Brooks, he said calmly. Trevor spoke sharply. Yes, we already know that. Nathaniel looked directly at him. Do you? Trevor froze. Claire looked confused now. Officer Harper remained calm. What should we know? He asked. Nathaniel didn't respond immediately. Instead, he asked a question. Has anyone checked the reporting guest's belongings yet? Trevor answered quickly. Security is handling that. Nathaniel nodded once. They should check again. Just then, another security officer rushed into the room. His voice sounded different, tighter, concerned. Sir, Trevor turned. What? We found something. Everyone looked at him. The bracelet. Trevor stepped forward immediately. Where? The officer hesitated. In her handbag. Silence exploded across the room. Claire covered her mouth. Officer Harper exhaled slowly. Trevor stared at the officer. Son, you're sure? Yes. Officer Harper turned toward Trevor again. So the reporting guest still had the bracelet the entire time. Trevor said nothing. Security avoided eye contact. Claire stepped backward slowly. Nathaniel remained seated, still calm, still quiet. Officer Harper spoke again. And yet he was placed in handcuffs. Trevor finally answered. We were acting on available information. Officer Harper shook his head slightly. No, he said. You were acting on an assumption. The officer who found the bracelet spoke again. There's more. Trevor looked irritated now. What else? The guest is saying she must have misplaced it earlier. Officer Harper sighed softly. Nathaniel looked toward Trevor again. You should probably remove these now. Trevor hesitated. Security unlocked the cuffs quickly. And Nathaniel stood slowly. He rubbed his wrist once, then looked directly at Trevor. Thank you. Trevor forced a tight smile. Yes, well, misunderstandings happen. Nathaniel stepped closer. No, he said calmly. They don't, Claire whispered quietly. Oh my God. Officer Harper watched carefully. Nathaniel turned toward him. Officer Harper, I appreciate your professionalism. The officer nodded once. I'm glad we checked the facts. Nathaniel looked back at Trevor again. You should still call corporate. Trevor frowned. I already told you they're monitoring. Nathaniel smiled slightly. Yes. He stepped closer. They're monitoring because I asked them to. Trevor's face changed. Claire stared at him. Security froze again. Officer Harper watched carefully. Trevor spoke slowly now. And what exactly are you saying? Nathaniel looked at him calmly. I'm saying corporate didn't connect to this situation by accident. The room went silent again. Trevor's voice dropped. Who are you? Nathaniel finally answered. My name is Dr. Nathaniel Brooks. He paused. And you should probably sit down before I explain the rest. Trevor didn't move, because something inside him already knew what was coming next, and what Nathaniel Brooks was about to reveal would stop everything inside the Grand Regent Hotel at once. Trevor Langley didn't sit. He couldn't, because something in Nathaniel Brooks' voice had already changed the air inside that room. What exactly are you saying? Trevor asked again. Nathaniel looked at him calmly. I'm saying, he repeated quietly, one corporate didn't connect to this situation by accident. Claire stepped closer to the doorway, without realizing she was moving. Security stopped speaking entirely. Officer Harper folded his arms slowly. Trevor swallowed. Who are you? Nathaniel answered without raising his voice. My name is Dr. Nathaniel Brooks. Trevor nodded impatiently. Yes, we know your name. Nathaniel held his gaze. No, he said gently. You know the reservation name. Silence stretched across the room. Then Nathaniel continued. I am the founder of Brooks Meridian Holdings. Claire's face went pale instantly. Trevor blinked once. Officer Harper straightened slightly. Nathaniel finished the sentence calmly. And Brooks Meridian Holdings owns the Grand Regent Hotel. No one moved. No one spoke. Security stared at him. Claire whispered first. No. Trevor laughed once. A short, nervous sound. That's not possible. Nathaniel didn't respond. Instead, he reached into his jacket slowly and removed his phone. He placed it on the table. Tapped once. The screen displayed a live executive dashboard. Trevor recognized it immediately. Every general manager inside the company used that system, except only one person had full access. One. Trevor's voice dropped. You? Nathaniel nodded once. Yes. Claire covered her mouth. Officer Harper looked between them carefully. You're telling me, he said slowly, they detained the owner of the hotel. Nathaniel smiled slightly. Yes. Trevor stepped backward. His confidence collapsed all at once. I didn't know, he said quickly. Nathaniel looked at him calmly. Hey, that's the problem. Trevor shook his head. If I had known, Nathaniel stopped him. If you had known, he said quietly, you would have treated me differently. The words landed heavily. Trevor said nothing. Claire's eyes filled with tears. Security avoided eye contact entirely. Nathaniel continued. But what concerns me, he said, is how quickly your team decided I didn't belong here. No one answered, because everyone understood he was right. Officer Harper spoke carefully. So what happens now? Nathaniel turned toward him respectfully. Now, he said, we correct something that should have been corrected a long time ago. Trevor looked confused. What does that mean? Nathaniel picked up his phone again, pressed another button. Every television screen inside the hotel lobby switched at the same moment. The staff looked up instantly. Guests stopped walking. The front desk froze. And inside the security office, Trevor watched his own face appear on the lobby broadcast monitors. Nathaniel spoke calmly. This message is now being shared across every Brooks Meridian property, Claire whispered softly. Oh no. Nathaniel stepped forward slightly. My name is Dr. Nathaniel Brooks, he said clearly. I founded this company to represent excellence, dignity, and respect. Guests in the lobby were now watching silently. Employees stood frozen behind counters. Nathaniel continued. Tonight, I entered one of our own properties as a guest. Trevor lowered his head. I was questioned without cause. Claire wiped her eyes. I was accused without evidence. Security shifted uncomfortably. And I was handcuffed inside a building I helped create. Silence filled the hotel. Nathaniel's voice stayed calm. But this moment is not about embarrassment. He paused. It is about accountability. Trevor whispered quietly. Yes. Nathaniel looked toward him. Mr. Langley, he said gently, your employment with Brooks Meridian ends today. Trevor's shoulders dropped. He didn't argue. He didn't protest, because he knew exactly why. Nathaniel turned toward Claire. Claire Whitmore. Her voice shook. Yes, sir. You allowed policy to become assumption. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Yes, I did. You are suspended pending review. She nodded slowly. I understand. Nathaniel turned toward security. And every officer involved in this detention will be placed under immediate investigation. No one spoke, maybe because no one could. Officer Harper watched quietly, then nodded once. That sounds appropriate. Nathaniel turned back toward the camera feed still broadcasting across the hotel chain. But this is bigger than one building, he continued. This is bigger than one mistake. Guests in the lobby were listening closely now. Employees across multiple cities were watching. Nathaniel spoke carefully. Effective immediately, Brooks Meridian Holdings is launching a new accountability system across every property we operate. Trevor looked up slightly. Claire listened through tears. Security stood still. We are introducing what will now be known as the Meridian Promise. Nathaniel paused. A commitment that every guest receives equal treatment. He continued calmly. See, all guest interaction delays will now be monitored. All complaint responses will be reviewed, and every report involving suspicion or removal of a guest will require verified evidence before action is taken. Officer Harper nodded slightly. That's how it should be, Nathaniel finished, because dignity is not optional. Silence followed him. Then slowly, guests began clapping. One person at first, then another, then more, until the entire lobby echoed with applause. Claire cried openly now. Trevor stood still. Security lowered their heads. Nathaniel turned toward Officer Harper. Thank you for doing your job properly tonight. The officer nodded. Thank you for insisting on fairness. Nathaniel smiled slightly. Then he walked toward the doorway. But before leaving, he stopped once more, turned back, and spoke quietly. This company doesn't belong to executives. It belongs to the people who trust us when they walk through our doors. Then he stepped into the hallway, and the entire hotel stood differently after that moment. 6 months later, guest complaint reports across Brooks Meridian properties dropped dramatically. Training programs changed hiring standards. Employee evaluations included fairness metrics. And something else changed too. Guests who once felt invisible inside luxury hotels began choosing Brooks Meridian locations intentionally because they knew something important had shifted. Respect had become policy, not preference. And the night Nathaniel Brooks was handcuffed inside his own hotel became the moment everything changed. Fwadi, if this story surprised you and you believe respect should never depend on appearances, take a moment right now to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below where you're watching from. Because stories like this remind people that dignity should never need permission, and sometimes the truth only reveals itself 20 minutes after the biggest mistake someone ever makes.